And what is great about that is we have 4 different pathways: fashion print, fashion knit, fashion design with marketing, and fashion communication promotion. That encompasses about 80 students in 1 year who are addressing sustainability for a huge project in their autumn term. Now, this gives an awareness to all those students within 1 year. And then maybe 2 or 3 of those students go on in the final year to make their entire final collection have a sustainable theme, which is great. And those people, I mean, if they use that, then that is something they are very passionate about. It's not going to be everybody, but everybody who's done the project has an awareness of sustainability.
Okay, for our project as a group, we wanted to look at 90s acid house and taking all the relaxed shapes and sportswear and mass-produced and making them special. So we started looking at really tailored garments and working in different features like the Adidas poppers into the trousers, and then that developed in looking at how we can manipulate brands. And then taking something from the past, the rebellious spirit of acid house, and bringing that to the forefront. And then with the recent London riots, we're looking at how to turn these into prints and working all these different elements together into a rebellious but comprehensive way with all different tailored features, and looking at how looks can be dismantled and put together, and how far you can push a brand and make it your own and recreate it. And we started the project looking at this as a normal project and working with the from somewhere and really sort of upcycling into the garments, so we weren't compromising design but being more creative with what we use, like shredding fabric to knit.
When Ursula came to make her presentation, it's obvious that what we're getting from her is random fabrics from all sorts of sources. When she came, she showed a wide variety of fabrics, and then she suggested whether students might like to go to the workshop and look at what was there. I think by the time the students got there, they'd already started to think of their themes for their subject, but when they got there, in fact, there are so many different fabrics, and because they're not having to put these into production, they're not constricted by I must have at least 20 metres of this, or I must have 40,000 collars or some such. They are thinking, right, how does my theme work with the fabrics that are offered to me here? So I think in the end of the day, because it's so wide-ranging, it probably doesn't really make that much difference, but each student and each group of students have now worked on a theme which they've managed to filter into the fabrics that Ursula offered. And of course with some of them they will treat them with dye or print or embellishment, so they will change them substantially. But some they're using because they were very attracted to the fabrics that they were offered.
So based on the feedback from last week, which was referring to this jumper, it looked a bit bulky on the model. Pauline just made a shorter version here, and I think the face is a bit clearer.
Much clearer.
Our collection is based on Mrs. C, who's an ultimate consumer, so we've really taken a literal approach on taking these small clothes and samples that From Somewhere have given us, and we've made, for example, our concept piece is a full cape made out of tiny clothes, which is really literal to remind us that this waste that's been collected by Ursula really is going to a use to make a full, beautiful garment.
Will be attach each other with the zip. I'm gonna attach picture here, and then we can attach each other, and then we can use like
you can change
different combination as well.
For next week, can you, apart from stuffing them slightly, can you also put a little bit of card in so that they don't go like that on the sides, just so that it looks really nice and adorable.
We're looking at mutated shapes of the human body, and we're looking at freak shows, deformity. Even though it's quite dark, we didn't really want it to be dark, so we kind of went for the whole really random but sci-fi look, because that's how we wanted to shoot the video. We also are looking at body cells, body cells and diseases and mould, and that was going to be our print ideas.
I first met Ursula de Castro when she was a speaker at our Cherish Your Wardrobe seminar back 2 years ago, and I found her a really passionate speaker about her subject, which is something so important because, after all, everything to do with sustainability, upcycling, green issues, however you care to choose to call it, is to do with our world, our future, my future, the future of these students. children, grandchildren. And what we wanted to do is every year in the curriculum we put in something which relates to sustainability. So it just so happened that I met up with Ursula during Fashion Week at Aesthetica, and we discussed vaguely doing a project, and then suddenly it became this opportunity that we could do a team project for 2011 with From Somewhere. So it all happened over a week. We just exchanged emails. She came to the briefing, and she's such a great speaker. She really showed how she feels about this subject, and the students absolutely reacted to that. You know, you could see they were all commenting after the briefing how inspirational she was. They loved the thought that she's working with companies like Alaya, Balenciaga, people who are making amazingly expensive and beautifully finished fabrics that are actually being thrown out, because obviously the garments have to be of the very first level, absolutely beautifully finished, and you can't have something that's not quite right, so naturally so much wastage. So the thought that they weren't just dealing with some old rubbish out of a dustbin, but actually amazing fabrics that they could then work on in their teams.